All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We just witnessed the game of the year. The Minnesota Vikings just won their 7th straight football game to put them at 8-1 in a thrilling overtime victory against the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. This was not a pretty game for both sides. However, 33-30, the Vikings put up 13 points in the fourth quarter. Man, when that second half started, it was, 24 to 10? 24 to 10. They didn't score on the first possession. It's not like things were looking grim, but things were starting to turn into, all right, Minnesota's got to figure something out, and they got to figure something out quickly because, when Buffalo's got 24 at half, you're thinking, they're going to continue to put up points on the board. So, this is just so fascinating to see, and I think this is finally, I don't know why it took, actually, the NFL's starting to come around towards the Minnesota Vikings, but I think a lot of, major analysts haven't really been viewing Minnesota as this crazy, Super Bowl threat. There are several out there, but this road, and it's just so critical. It's so hard to win on the road, let alone against any team. It's hard to win on the road. Let it against the possible team that's coming out of the AFC, a huge AFC favorite, an MVP favorite in Josh Allen. I know he was a little banged up heading into today's game, but still, no excuses from their side. This was just such a good win, man. I can't even imagine what Viking fans are feeling right now. So before we get any further in this video, if you guys enjoy, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get a little crazy here. Let's try and get, this is very crazy, let's try and get 250 likes on today's video. I've been posting Vikings videos, every other day for a couple of weeks now. You guys show so much love, and as coming from a cheesehead, I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate all the love, and covering this team right now it's just crazy. Justin Jefferson, Double J with the catch of the year. Stephon Diggs also had a really cool catch. But Justin Jefferson, when I saw Justin Jefferson's catch, I think I speak for a lot of people, almost everybody here. I don't know how he caught that football. I genuinely don't know how he caught that football. But let's break this game down a little bit. One of the things I did enjoy was, it's not like the Vikings ran the ball, a crazy amount of times. They ran it 25 times for 147 yards. It's about a little less than 6 yards per carry. 2 touchdowns, including Dalvin Cook's 81-yarder. Kirk Cousins did not have a pretty football game, all right? Here were his stats. 30 of 50, 357 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. But I'll tell you this. The first, it really wasn't pretty. Like I said, it was 24 to 10. Kirk, especially in the final drive where they needed a touchdown to end the game, or end regulation, I should say, some of the throws he made throughout the entirety of the game, especially in overtime, like that throw and catch to Justin Jefferson. I know they didn't convert for the touchdown. We'll talk about Patrick Peterson's pick at the end of the game, but it really is impressive to see what Kirk is doing right now, because like I said, you can nitpick, people will nitpick this box score from Captain Kirk, and they'll look at it and they'll be like, hey, he really didn't do that great, the defense saved the day. That final drive in regulation showed me everything I needed to know about Kirk Cousins this season. This isn't the Kirk from years past. This just is not the Kirk Cousins from years past. And that should terrify the NFL. That should terrify the NFC. I know as a cheesehead, it terrifies me. It's not ideal, all right? But Kirk Cousins is playing really good football right now, and they're just getting the job done, man. I can't even, you have to go, the Buffalo Bills defense, words can't even describe how difficult it is. A couple words do. Von Miller, Ed Oliver, there's some big boys on that defense, and in that final drive in regulation, we saw him getting to Kirk. We saw him, the offensive line for Minnesota isn't the best. That's something, you could look at as one of their weaknesses. It is, keep it a buck. It is one of their weaknesses, their offensive line. The way he was maneuvering out of the pocket, all game, not just the last drop, but the way he was maneuvering in and out of the pocket, he was staying poised, he was making the throws he had to make even when he knew he was about to get leveled. This was a big game, and they're 8-1 and you've won 7 straight, so confidence in general is going to be relatively high. But this, if I'm Kirk Cousins after this football game, I am absolutely amped. I know he was amped up after that comeback victory last week against Washington, but this is just so impressive, man. And Minnesota is just. I know I talk about this in every video I make for the Vikings. They would never have won this football game if this was in the Zimmer era. Just not to be rude or disrespectful, but this just isn't a game they would have won. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills probably would have scored a touchdown. Instead of Patrick getting that interception in the red zone, it's probably a touchdown. And I don't care how the wins look. I don't care how it looks on the box score. I don't give a damn. There will be nobody saying at the end of this season, like, yeah, Minnesota's 8-1, but their wins are ugly. Who cares, dude? First off, it's very hard to play. A perfect football game is pretty much impossible, right? So there's going to be ugly parts in every facet of every football game for every team. They're winning these games, and they're just finding ways to win. Whether it's the defense stepping up, getting those interceptions, whether it's Kirk Cousins staying poised, whether it's Justin Jefferson making these incredible catches, whether it's Dalvin Cook doing what he does best, whatever it is, they just gotta. I mean, they've been doing it all season, but you just gotta keep going at it, man. It's everybody is stepping up. The coaching staff is unbelievable. The Kevin O'Connell era is just. It's truly crazy. It really is crazy. And so you're Minnesota, and this win here is going to put you on the map. Somehow, like I said, man, words can't even describe it. Hopefully Viking fans know what I'm talking about here, but words can't even describe like an 8-1 team flying below the radar. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's the way it was. That's the way it's been. It's been trending upward, through the duration of the season. But people love to nitpick, like, oh, all right, last week was cool. They outscored Washington. What was it, 17-7? That was the fourth quarter score going into the fourth, or that was the score going into the fourth quarter last week. Like, yeah, that's cool and all, but it's Washington. You can't say that about the Buffalo Bills. I don't care if Josh Allen was injured. Josh Allen threw for 330 yards. Josh Allen also has perfectly capable feet that he ran for 84 yards tonight. Like, you just can't really discredit what Minnesota is doing right now and what Minnesota is capable of for the playoffs. I know I don't even really want to get ahead of myself, and I won't get ahead of myself talking about the playoffs because it's a week-by-week thing. But Kevin has this team so poised, so properly prepared to go into these games on the road in Buffalo, which is one of the hardest. I don't even care what Buffalo's record would be at 6-3. I don't care you could flip it. Buffalo could be 3-6 this year. It is so difficult to play in Buffalo. It's super difficult. That's why, home field advantage in the playoffs, in just the regular season, it's such a big deal having home field. Buffalo, Bills Mafia, they're all over the nation. They are literally all over. Bills Mafia is all over the nation. And it is, I've never been to Buffalo actually, but just from looking at the screen, that is a very difficult place to play. Shout out Justin Jefferson, 193 yards. He is making the case for being the best wide receiver in the NFL, having the best wide receiver season of the year. Like, Adam Thielen, just still doing his thing, Mr. Consistent, Mr. Rock Solid. TJ Hawkinson, we've talked time and time again about how important and how valuable he is to this football team, how big of an addition that was. You had KJ Osborne getting involved, especially late. That offense, man, they're multifaceted. They're multifaceted, and it just opens up everything. It opens up your playbook, makes it easier on the defense. Shout out, though, you got to shout out Big Z's sack in the third was really cool. A couple of sacks today. It's just, man, dude, I cannot believe Peterson, yeah, right? I keep getting Patrick Peterson mixed up. Patrick Peterson in the right place at the right time to finish that game. I'm still a little amped up here. I'm still a little amped up here, as I'm sure every Viking fan in the nation is. So, shout out Double P. Shout out that defense. making it difficult for Josh Allen, getting 2 interceptions, getting some big-time plays, changing the game, just really making plays. When you're playing a team like Buffalo, turnovers are everything. Causing turnovers. If your defense is able to get touchdowns, like that is a complete and utter game changer. So I know the defense has been nitpicked. I know the offensive line has been nitpicked, and it wasn't necessarily perfect. But like I said, nothing's ever going to be perfect in the NFL. So, Viking fans, man, I hope you guys are just loving this because, as a bystander, I'm loving this for you guys. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Go ahead, show some thoughts on the game of the year down below. That's it from me, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.